responsible for the content of that. No, hello, everybody. So here's what we got today. Today we got a report, a bipartisan report. Yeah, that's shedding some light on the January 6th insurrection. And we need a whole lot more light shed on the January 6th insurrection after reading this report. Here, how bad was it? Okay, let's answer that question. So the Trump nuts that were plotting the attack had more intel and more planning than those who were tasked with protecting the Capitol, according to this bipartisan report. Now, why would that be? Why would that be? Because the language had to be negotiated. They had to use the word attack because obviously that's what that was, but they didn't want to use the word insurrection. Now, they didn't want to get into like what caused it or who's responsible, like whether or not saying we're going to go do trial by combat, Rudy, or I'm going to go with you. We're going to go up to the Capitol and I'll be with you. And if Mike Pence goes along with us, and if he doesn't, well, you know, too bad for Mike. What this report actually says is that we need better intel. We need better planning. We need better training. We need better intel. But no assessment for what caused the riot. No assessment at all, because that would include watching the tapes. That would include watching the Stop the Steal, Save America rally. And they didn't want to watch TV or something. I really, it's just, okay, so here's what we found out. We found out that, according to this report, Capitol Police were never told what was really about to happen, even though everybody, from Paul Gosar to Mo Brooks, to the intel agencies, to the commanders at Capitol Police, to the acting Secretary of Defense, they all knew what was going to happen. It never made it to the frontline guys. The information that they would need to protect themselves, the equipment that they would need to protect themselves, the intelligence that they would need to protect themselves was never delivered to the frontline guys, okay? Capitol Police intelligence officers, this is what the report says, Capitol Police intelligence officers knew as early as December 21st, now we're talking January 6th, okay, that protesters planned to, quote, bring guns and other weapons to the January 6th demonstration and turn them on law enforcement officers who then blocked the entry to the Capitol. They knew that there would be rioters. They knew that they were sharing maps. Yeah, maps of the Capitol campus online. They knew they were discussing the entry points into the Capitol building. They knew that the Trump, insurrectionists, they knew that they were planning to seal off exits and trap lawmakers inside. But that information was only shared with command officers. A separate assessment was delivered on December 23rd, 2 days later. It had zero mention of those findings in it. And then there was a follow-up on December 30th that also made no mention of the bringing guns, the other weapons, the campus maps, or the plan to seal and trap the lawmakers inside. The only hint that Capitol Police got appeared to be that Norfolk memo. Do you remember that one that came from Norfolk, Virginia? I have to be careful when I say it because I have an accent. Yeah, that was the January 3rd that stated, quote, there is the possibility that the protesters may be inclined to become violent. May be inclined. These are Trump supporters. Violence is all they're good at. They're not good at anything else. I mean, they got access to the Capitol and then they got there and they didn't even know what to do. I'm just saying. But the Capitol Intelligence Unit was calling the threat, quote, as late as January 3rd. They were calling the threat, quote, remote and improbable. Hello? Donald Trump a reality TV star, the host of Celebrity Apprentice, being the president is also remote and improbable. And yet it happened. And yet it happened. And this report goes nowhere near who's responsible, the big lie, Rudy Giuliani, trial by combat, Paul Gosar, Mo Brooks, start kicking ass today. Remember that? Remember?
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking ass.
Remember that?
Now, our ancestors sacrificed their blood, their sweat, their tears, their fortunes, and sometimes their lives to give us, their descendants, an America that is the greatest nation in world history. So I have a question for you. Are you willing to do the same?
Are you willing to die for Donald Trump? Are you fully entrenched in our death cult? Oh, my God. So, Mo Brooks, that's who that was right there, is being sued by Eric Swalwell. I don't know if you know this. Eric Swalwell brought a personal lawsuit against Mo Brooks for endangering his life. And they could not find Mo Brooks. He's a congressman. They couldn't find him, couldn't locate him, couldn't serve him, couldn't deliver the service, the actual papers that are required to notify somebody that you are moving in court against them in a lawsuit. So Swalwell had to hire a private investigator, and finally, yesterday or the day before, they were able to serve Mo Brooks, his wife, at the house. And Mo Brooks is beside himself now. He is just so... I guess he's going to ask people to sacrifice their lives and blood for him and, his, money, because it's a civil lawsuit and the only recompense is money. But, I mean, this is just so unbelievable. So now we got this report, and the report was, according to this joint bipartisan task force that put this report out, this was a limited in scope view, and they decided to look at how to fix it before they looked at who was responsible for it. So leave it to bipartisanship to not get to the root cause of any damn thing ever. What, you were too busy? I mean, Donald Trump watched the whole thing on TV. You were too busy to do that?
I watched it on TV.
We all watched it on TV. Everybody knows what happened. So we have reports now on how various agencies failed to stop this riot, but we can't get a commission or a bipartisan report on how the riot was caused. You know what? Could we just make this general assumption? Nothing worked under Donald Trump. Nothing. Especially not when failure could benefit him. You understand that, right? Slow the mail down. Oh, that didn't work? Storm the Capitol. Kick some ass. Wow. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.